So this was breaking news this afternoon. We didn't know this was going to happen. So Harry was obviously wrongly advised, or maybe it wasn't that obvious?
Well, look, this is part of a bigger case against Associated Newspapers, the publisher of the Mail on Sunday. He's suing them for libel over an article that was published last year with the headline, "How Prince Harry Tried to Keep His Legal Fight with the Government Over Bodyguards a Secret." Then just minutes after the story broke, his PR machine tried to put a positive spin on it. He had claimed it was libelous, it attacked his honesty and integrity, and his lawyer said it had suggested that he'd lied and cynically tried to manipulate the public. So he's suing them for libel, but in doing so, he tried to get the Mail on Sunday's defence of honest opinion thrown out. And on Friday, a High Court judge ruled that it couldn't be thrown out, that actually Associated Newspapers had a real prospect of being able to argue that defence in court, and it should go to trial. And so now on this particular part of it, he's been ordered to pay costs to the Mail on Sunday of £48,447 by the end of this year. And unless there's any settlement, it will go to trial May to July next year.
And do we know anything about has he shown us any insight into why he is so keen to make these court appearances when traditionally the royal family wouldn't have gone anywhere near court? They would have, done anything really whatsoever to avoid it. Is it because he doesn't want the press, the media or anyone else to think that of him?
I think Prince Harry sees himself as a crusader, and we know through his privacy cases that he has talked about having the means to be able to proceed where others haven't, where others might have had to settle out of court. Prince Harry is very determined that he should have his day in court. And as you say, very unusual to see a member of the royal family in court. But he's got 5 cases underway at the moment. He's got his case against the Home Office over his security, which this article was about. He's got this libel case against Associated Newspapers, and he's got 3 privacy cases against 3 different newspaper groups. And so he has a lot of litigation underway, and on this one, he's got a big bill now to pay.
Yes, he has. Let's talk about the Martin Bashir BBC interview, which Prince William said he never, ever wanted to see broadcast again, which Earl Spencer, the late Princess Diana's brother, had to persist and persist and persist with for years to get it into the public domain and get anything done about it at all. And I think most people will remember Panorama, the princess with, heavy mascara looking up at Martin Bashir and talking about wanting to be the queen of people's hearts. But what none of us knew at the time was what had gone on behind the scenes to secure that interview.
And it wasn't until Lord Dyson's report in 2021 that it was concluded that that interview had been obtained by deception, that Martin Bashir had used false bank statements, for example, to convince Earl Spencer and then Diana to do the interview with him. Now, there's been a Freedom of Information request. It's been going on for the past 2 years by journalist Andy Webb to try and get emails within the BBC from 2020, so the year before Lord Dyson's report was published, the year before Martin Bashir stood down from the BBC. The BBC has spent £100,000, it's estimated, trying to keep these emails silent.
My God, that's licence fee payers' money.
It is.
I mean, that's really something. And most businesses, it's up to them or up to the shareholders, but not the BBC, where the public are those people paying for it.
Yeah.
So £100,000 to keep the emails that they sent in 2020 out of the public domain.
Yeah. 3,200 emails have now been ordered by the judge to be released. The BBC described by the judge as being inconsistent, erroneous and unreliable in handling the requests for these emails. And the judge even said the BBC response was a cause for serious concern. The BBC has said it's accepted that mistakes were made and it's currently considering its response. So we haven't immediately had these emails published.
The word considering is the one that gets me. Why is the BBC allowed to consider a response when the judge has said, oi, hand them over? The answer is, here they are, isn't it?
I suppose, I'm no legal expert, but I suppose it's whether it's considering an appeal on this process.
And then who will have to fund that? The licence fee payer.
But if those emails
God, I remember when I
do
worked
come
at the
out-
BBC, we weren't allowed to have a biscuit in a proper corporate meeting. I don't mean weren't allowed to eat free biscuits in general, but an important meeting. There were no, it was meant to be finely honed so that the licence fee payer wasn't ripped off. And I agreed with it. Why should a licence fee payer pay for me to eat a biscuit? Quite right. But this is really something, isn't it?
And of course, as the journalist who's been leading this freedom of information request has said, and Earl Spencer as well, the fact they fought so hard to have these emails. Now, the BBC has argued that they're irrelevant mostly, but the fact they've fought so hard to keep them secret does raise questions and eyebrows. And Andy Webb, the journalist involved, has said he believes that these emails will reveal a cover-up of the original cover-up.
Gosh.
So that the cover-up was still taking place in 2020.
Covering up a cover-up.